Hey guys, this is the Spyderco Caribbean. Got this knife about 2 months ago, and ever since then, it has been with me, in my pocket, in my hand cutting things, or within arm's reach of me. Everything I needed to cut, I would say, well, 99% of that was done with this. Of course, I did test other knives, cut sisal rope, cut cardboard, stuff like that. But everything I actually needed to cut, plus a few tests, I did with this. A few days ago, I did a cardboard cutting test. You can find that video on my Patreon page if you're interested. I will also talk about it a bit. So after 2 months, I like to tell you all my findings, all my opinions, everything I found out after carrying this knife for 2 months every single day in one video. It's either going to be a 40-minute video or maybe two parts of 20 minutes. I don't know. But if you want to buy this knife, if you care about it, you might want to watch this video. First thing that I did with this knife after I got it was make a first impressions video. And I'd like to thank those of you who commented on that video and actually gave me links to the forums to answer my question, what materials is the knife actually made of? And yes, there was a link there where Sal also chimed in, but there was no clear statement. What Sal said was, the liners should be LC2. They're not. The blade is LC200N, the pocket clip, titanium, the washers are bronze phosphorus, I think, and the handle scales are G10. The rest is stainless steel. Whether they call it extremely corrosion resistant or highly corrosion resistant, is stainless steel and it will rust. So if anybody has ever said that they took this knife or they take this knife every day out on the salt water and they've never got any rust on it, they're lying. Because the blade won't rust, the pocket clip won't rust, the G10 won't rust. The washers, they will get that patina like copper does, but everything else will rust. And I've had the same thing, the same issue. So after 10 days in and out of salt water, not cleaning the knife very much because I was testing it, when I opened the knife, when I disassembled it, I saw little rust smudges everywhere, all the steel parts. I wiped them off and everything was okay. Well, let me take you back to the second day, I think, when I actually sharpened the knife. I have some experience with LC200N, so I know a 15-degree per side edge angle for the things that I do is going to be okay. That's what I did. I sharpened the knife at a 15-degree per side edge angle, which I kept. I think that is enough. It has a very wide blade. The grind is a normal grind. It's not overly thin. For something like this, Stretch 2 K390, they made the grind a bit thinner than your average Endura. This is about 24 thousandths of an inch behind the edge. So not the thinnest of grinds. But with a 15-degree per side edge angle, this makes a knife a decent slicer, a decent worker. Not fantastic, but I would say that probably about 90% of you guys, if you ever work with something like this, 15-degree per side edge angle, 24 thousandths of an inch thick behind the edge, that's 0.5, 0.6 millimeters, you will say, this is a good slicer, this is good enough. For everyday tasks, fantastic. That's what I put on, 15 degrees per side. First day, put the knife in my pocket, went out shopping with my wife. As I was trying to retrieve my car keys out of my pocket, I felt them snag. And I immediately knew what happened. My house key actually got in between the liners and dented the blade. Put a very nasty chip in the blade. So for the second time that day, I resharpened the knife. I de-stressed the whole edge and I put a fresh edge. And it was with that edge that I started my vacation. 10 days in and around salt water. I had a small homemade strop. This is the coarse stropping compound from Bark River to maintain the edge. and the micro tool. It has 3 Torx bits, 6, 8, and 10, ceramic and diamond, which I didn't use. I did not use the ceramic and diamond stones. I just carried it for the bits mainly because I knew I wanted at some point to disassemble the knife. If you get a Spyderco Caribbean, I recommend that you would disassemble the knife at home with proper tools because it is very, very tight. They use Loctite and the tolerance are actually pretty good. So also have a tool with which to pry the liners apart, or else you will mar the G10 like I did. I don't know if you can see it right here. So yes, but after you disassemble it once, clean up everything, and now disassembly goes fairly quickly. And if you use this in saltwater environment for fishing, for doing a lot of things where you would want to clean the knife, you don't have to. But if you do, then a tool like this and having clean screws is okay. I don't like to use oil and I don't like to use Loctite on my screws if I can prevent it. So right now this has neither. 10 days in around salt water. I work with it. I actually cleaned a perch pike. There was some small damages to the edge, but I could strop them out. So I didn't need to use any sharpening stones for sharpening. I merely used the strop. And for the first 10 days, I could keep the knife sharp at a very high sharpness level simply with this strop. Now, what do I mean about a very high sharpness level? I could whittle a piece of hair. In the beginning, better. Towards the end, I could just cut it. Like I'm about to show you now. After I did my cardboard test the other day, I tried to strop the knife on this strop, black, coarse, Bark River stropping compound. That didn't go as planned. This is actually a mix. It used to be white, then I put on black, and then white, and then black. And now for the past, I don't know how many weeks, I've just been adding black stropping compound just to see what happens. Then I went to my very old, very used strop. I had this for about 10 years, made it myself, which has white Bark River stropping compound. And this actually got a very good edge back. I like to show you that. Kind of the edge that I've kept there for, I would say, the first 8 days with this drop. Just a piece of hair. I have a flashlight shining here, and this is after cutting some serious amount of cardboard and stropping the knife back. This is not that bad. You see that? I just took off a piece of that hair three times. Sorry, I can't do it any better on camera here with this light. This was the main contact area. And there you go. So it's something similar to shaving above the skin, which is very good. Now, I have a lot of videos on my Patreon page about sharpening, steels, edge angles, edge fatigue, how when you are overstropping, you might do more damage than good. That is true for certain steels, and that's why I tested this with LC200 and K390. I managed to keep this knife sharp, very sharp, while actually using it as my only cutting tool for 10 days, simply with this small strop. And I think that's one of the benefits that a steel like LC200 has. It's not the hardest of steels, and even if you get a small dull spot on it, you can strop it back. Do you want to do that? That's a different question. For that, I can direct you to other videos that I made. But I managed to do this, and I think that's pretty cool. Now, the one issue that I had in those 10 days was the fact that I kept the knife in the waistband of my swimming trunks. Every day, in and out of salt water, waves, very beautiful. The thing is, I think the second day when I took off my t-shirt, I snagged the knife, and I posted a picture on my YouTube. You can watch that picture. It actually it actually stayed like this, pretty far away from the scales. So the entire day, I checked my knife to see, is it still there? I guess this is enough for part one. Let's continue this in part two.